G'day, welcome to the video. In this one, which is another one in the series where we're giving you information to help you set yourself up and your motorcycle up for track days, we're actually going to focus on tyre choices. And what we don't want to do in here is tell you which tyre to use. Basically, we're going to provide you some information so that you can choose which tyres to go and have a look at and get information about so that you make the correct choice. It's important that we point out before we get into the information here that it's not a matter of you thinking that you go out and you buy the stickiest, highest performance, most costly tyre that the fastest rider on the planet is riding on, and then you whack it on your bike and you're going to go out and suddenly you're going to be amazing out there, you know, cracking 62-degree lean angles or whatever the case may be. The truth is, if you put that type of tyre on your motorcycle, particularly a street bike, you're probably going to go out there and crash your brains out because you will not utilise that tyre in the way it was designed. You probably won't generate sufficient heat in order for the tyre to get into its correct operating performance range. So you're just not going to get the benefits of that. And there are far better, far more suitable tyres for your particular situation that you would choose from. Now, having said that, in this video, we've got some guests here and collectively between everyone in this video, there's more than 100 years of riding experience. Yeah, it's quite amazing when you do the maths. So we're going to share with you some choices that we make around what tyres we would use for track day activities. Before I introduce my four guests, my choice these days is in the Metzeler range. Everyone who knows me knows that I've ridden on 5 different brands on the track: Michelin, Metzeler, Pirelli, Bridgestone and Dunlop, and I like them all for various reasons. They all set up well. There's really not a bad tyre out there these days. And I've just settled on Metzeler for a couple of reasons. One is I like the way they heat up pretty quickly. You get a lot of warmth in the tyre and the way they're constructed very fast, and that's important, particularly if you're not running tyre warmers. So if I were going to a track day tomorrow, I would whack a set of Race Techs on. And whether it's soft, medium or hard, that would depend on the particular conditions. I kind of like the whole range of these. Some people have different choices about that. So that's my thoughts about what I would put on this BMW S1000RR. Now, I've got some guests here, and these people are extremely knowledgeable. They're super fast riders, and they're all out there cracking some times on the track that are in the 1% of capabilities when it comes to racetrack time. And all of them are involved in coaching in some way. So I'll get them to share their information, and it's basically Mark McGregor from Addicted to Track, Stephanie Redman, who's known as Coach 49 on Facebook. You can find her. There's Stig Brouggy from Motorcycle Events Group Australia, or MEGA as they're known, and they run the ride days at Phillip Island and Sydney Motorsport Park. And there's also Hare, who's one of the directors and senior coaches of the Californian Superbike School. So take a listen, and I'll let you make your own choices about which tyre you might use. What's your favourite track day tyre, and why do you say that?
Oh, I've been on Pirelli slicks for a long while now, probably 10 years, thereabouts. I'm very familiar with them, and as the compounds change and the profiles changed over the years, we just keep going with the latest and greatest. My go-to for a front is the SE3, which is the endurance tyre. I've used it everywhere from Manfield, as you mentioned before, in New Zealand at 6-8 degree track temperature, through to I used it in Darwin last month. So
really,
50-degree track temperature. For me, it's got a harder sidewall. The compound is well wearing, being an endurance tyre. I have a lot of confidence in that. So that's my go-to front. For me, the SC1 is the sidewall's too soft. I don't like that feeling of it when you first brake of it. It feels like it's collapsing, which it does. But that's not a confidence-inspiring feeling for me, so I prefer the harder one. And the rear really is, depends on where we are on the track temperature. You'd be crazy to take anything but SEOs if you want to go fast in Darwin. So it's
which is the super sticky one.
Yeah, but it's made for the hottest track temperature.
Right.
Yeah,
interesting, because it's not a matter of SC1's stickier than SC2, which is stickier than SC3. They've got different structures around sidewalls. They've got different performance characteristics and temperatures, and that's correct, isn't it?
Yep.
So where would people get the right information about that? Do you know? Well, where did you get the info?
I think all of your track day operators, have, or that I've seen have your tyre specification sheets, and normally there's a series of circles that show the operating temperature and the pressures you should run. I know, so that's available to you. I would get the information from the vendor's website, Pirelli or Dunlop or Metzeler's website, well before I ask the guy next to me in the pits.
Yeah, right. Do you check your pressures hot or cold?
I check my pressures off the warmer.
The thing I've noticed is, even though different models are different, so you can have, like, for example, the Dunlop brand I'm very familiar with. So you've got at the top end, you've got the KR series of slicks.
Yeah.
Then you've got what they call the GP Racer series of slicks, which also has a treaded option. Then you've got what they call the GPR Pro, which is the super sport tire, treaded tire. Then you've got like the Q3 plus Q4 type area, which is more a road and track tire and so forth. I really like the KR because it suits my riding.
Right.
But I think for most riders, and the people who are going to be listening to this aren't going to be doing 39s around for a while.
No.
They're probably going to be better suited to something that's somewhere in the middle of the range. So, the race tech in the Metzeler, the GPR or perhaps the Q4 in a Dunlop,
yeah,
the Super Corsa, maybe SP, or maybe getting into the SC area depending on the rider. So in the Pirelli, so those type of tires, I think, would be more suited to most riders. But for me, I actually really like the Q3 Plus.
Yeah.
Because to me, it epitomizes what Dunlop have always been good at. Now, Dunlop is not known for having the best edge grip all the time. So when back in the old days, when I was sort of coming through the ranks, Michelin, Dunlop, they were the only two brands that are out there. And the Michelin always had better edge grip, but gave you far less warning. So you could carry a lot more corner speed.
Yeah.
But if the thing was to let go, it would let go very quickly, and you're on your bum, right? With the Dunlop, it doesn't have quite the same amount of edge grip, but so much more warning.
Yeah.
So I actually really like something like the Q3.
Ooh, it'd have to be the Pirelli Super Corsa. They are, in my opinion, they're just a brilliant tyre. They perform well from new. They perform well when they're really old, like getting towards the end of their life. I like the feel that they have. Everyone's very different with the tyres, but Pirelli, for me, has a really good feel. They tend to move a little bit, and I like that. So, they're a good entry-level tyre, I guess. The only issue with the Pirellis is that they can be a little bit temperature dependent. So if you are riding the wrong compound, on a cold or hot day, you can get a bit of tear, especially in a higher powered bike. So they can sometimes not be the most economical tyre,
right,
for a track day, but you will get very good performance out of them.
Yeah. Well, they run Pirellis at World Supers, don't they? World Superbike.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
For obvious reasons.
Yep.
I run Metzeler tyres. So basically, I run a Metzeler slick, and I run a K-Wave front, which is a soft front, and I either run a K1 or a K2 rear. Got a great profile, and I'm just familiar with them. They've got great levels of grip, and you actually, if your bike's set up well, you get really good life out of the rear. Yeah. I'll probably get if I ride hard, I'll get a day out of a rear, but I'll get maybe 2 or 3 days out of the front. For me, it's about predictability of traction, and it's also about actually getting some decent wear out of the tyres. And the Metzelers do a great job.
Yeah. Do you like that soft feel on the front?
With the softer tyre?
Yeah, versus a harder.
Yeah, so I used to run Dunlops, which are a totally different tire, totally different setup. To be fair, the Dunlop front probably it probably had more life in it.
Yeah.
But I've run a softer carcass tire for so long now, maybe 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's what I'm used to.
It's interesting because what it highlights is there's no one tire for everyone. You know, like Mark likes the stiffer front. He runs the hard, S3 Superbike or Super Corsa, whereas you have that softer feel. And I think the big takeaway for me on this is find the tire that's going to do the job for you, specifically in the way you ride and all that type of thing. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I think riding is totally personal. It's just you can get somebody and put them on my bike, and they'll, we got some young racers here. You put them on my motorcycle, and they'd ride the wheels off it, and you go,
yeah,
how do you do that? I can't even do that on my motorcycle. But it's personal. You set up the bike to suit you and the way that you ride.
Yeah.
And there's just, we're not right at that pointy end. So for me, it's just about being comfortable with the machine and just setting the bike up for what works for me. So as you say, people have different choices. There isn't a bad bike out there. No. And if you look at all of the, the 3 main brands of tire, you've got your Dunlops and you've got your Pirellis, and then Metzeler's have really done a big push. You've got, those 3 brands, these Bridgestones. There really isn't a bad tire. It's really just a case of finding something that works for you and ride it. Yeah.
Take notice of what the factory says about setting up the tire.
For sure. Yep. Tire pressures are a big thing, right?
Well, there you go. There's the information. I hope there's enough there for you to go out and make a choice about which ones you actually research and get information on. And like I said, take the advice of people who know what they're doing, who are experts in the game, and who have been out there testing and trialling and putting the tyres that they're choosing through their paces. And I'm sure you can't go too far wrong. So there you go. Hope you get something out of that.